September 25th, the new Fox Tuesday kicks off with New Girl's new season. Then welcome Ben and Kate.
Stay away from my sister before you find out what 6 years of Krav Maga feels like. Well, like year and a half plus like 4 years on and off I was traveling.
Followed by another all-new New Girl.
What am I looking at here?
Pure, unadulterated friendship.
And the Mindy Project.
Can't believe you're tattling.
Tattling is when a little girl does it, okay? When a hot woman does it, it's called whistleblowing.
The new Fox Tuesday, premieres September 25th on Fox.
You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Real Housewives of New York City After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Real Housewives of New York City After Show.
Hey everyone, Bing is for doing, and we're here doing another AfterBuzz After Show for the Real Housewives of New York City, Season 5, Episode 15, called Vacation. All I Never Wanted. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Kristen Carney, and of course I have 3 lovely co-hosts. To my right I have Miss
Anna Koppel.
Hello.
Hey.
Oh, are you going to say in across from me?
No.
Oh, okay. And I'm sitting across. Stare at you. Okay. I was waiting for it. Sitting across from her is me, Molly Harper.
And to her right is I, Yerman Gur. Hi, everybody.
It is I. Welcome.
It is I.
Welcome. Welcome to Hurricane Aviva. Which I'm surprised the episode wasn't titled Hurricane Aviva.
It should have been.
It should have been, and it should have been with, a side of Katrina. Well, anyway, we have some crazy stuff to get to tonight. And I think we should start where it all began with Aviva and the drama that has ensued.
Yes.
That came to a head like a pimple.
I have a suggestion. In Sonja's blog, she referred to her as a diva.
Oh.
Which I love. I feel like we should refer to her as a diva all night. Yeah.
That's good.
That's clever.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's the funniest thing Sonja's ever done.
It's a comedy speech impediment.
Yeah. Right.
Well, she didn't let things go at all. And I thought
Yet she really wanted to, because she said all the time, I want to let things go.
Right. And I didn't watch the episode before you guys, so I was just seeing your Facebook and your Twitter in regards to the episode, and I was really excited to see it. And we basically open with the bedroom of Ramona and Sonja getting walked in on. What do you guys think? Is Aviva dragging this on way too much?
Yeah. I think the whole country thinks that.
Yeah.
Concur.
It was really funny. I was talking with my sister beforehand, and she goes, I really learned a valuable lesson in tonight's show. And I was thinking, how could you possibly learn a lesson watching the show? And she said, I learned that if you're mad at someone about something, just say it once. Because the more you repeat it, the more they're going to hate you, which I think is what happened.
I was really in Aviva's corner last week. I really was like, look, I get it. You have anxiety. You just got off the plane. You're stressed. And I was really trying to be in her corner. But, I mean, listen, you've had a night of sleep. Let it go. Yeah. It's over. Drop it.
Yeah.
Well, she kept referring also back to her husband. You wanted to spit on my husband. You want to spit on my husband. And it's like, shouldn't the man be more protective than the woman? Almost, right. It seems like in a couple scenario.
Right,
She's taking he's a man, he can take it. He knows you're a bunch of crazy women, and I don't think he's as affected as you are, but it keeps going back to my husband, my poor husband drove me. Then I would bow down if he drove her all the way down. But she keeps going to this, you owe my husband, you owe my husband.
Yeah, we don't owe your husband anything.
Unfortunately, at this point, no, Ramona isn't going to hang up a sign and say, congratulations, you made it, because you're making it a miserable time now. But do you think that she has, I think Ramona was the one who said that she has some anger issues. Do you guys think she has anger issues?
Yeah.
What do you think has anything to do with her?
Well, it was really interesting. I was reading Aviva's blog on Bravo, and there were like hundreds of mostly hateful comments on her blog. And a lot of people who were saying, I was on your team, and now your true colors have shown, and no matter how much you apologize, because her blog was all about apologizing, sorry, hun, we've seen it. But one woman had a really interesting perspective that I just wanted to share. And she said that it was like her aunt or somebody who also has a prosthetic and needs a lot of assistance in her life. And she said, I think that the reason Aviva got so out of control was because her sense of security is Reed. Reed is where she wraps up all of her sense of security. And when she feels that that is threatened, she's going to completely lose it. And they were saying, this woman said, Aviva, you better be careful because you need to learn how to be a little bit less needy on Reed because God forbid anything happened to him. You're going to be totally incapable to live on your own. So I thought that was a really interesting perspective. I think that's why she went ballistic. I mean, she was nuts.
Well, you can see in her body language, and I almost feel like I do this sometimes when I'm really upset, when she walked into the bedroom, and at first she was going to try to be playful about it. You know, she was like, oh, you didn't hear me knock? You didn't hear me knock? And then all of a sudden, like, her hands started going. And that was where you can see that's where I think she holds, like, her anger is, like, you start seeing it coming out in her body language because she started saying like, oh, is this going to be another warm welcome? And it was like, at first she was trying to be playful, but the playfulness is really just
I didn't think that was a playful comment. I thought that was attacking.
No. Well, it was, but her tone was trying to sound playful right at the beginning. Like right at the beginning, she's like, I'm going to be above this and cool. And then all of a sudden it was like, she knew she couldn't.
Me personally, I couldn't honestly get what you three had been talking about last week. Is there was a part of me that could not get it out of my head that she is now kind of forcing this whole other side of herself, or the anger card, whatever you want to call it, because she was so seen as on the fence or kind of on everybody's team. Sometimes maybe that might explain the nervousness in her hand motions, because if you're forcing something that isn't coming naturally to you, then that might make you even more nervous. The whole time I'm thinking, is this real anger, or is this, I've got to make something out of what probably isn't that much, or maybe is nothing at all anger?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I think, though, that we're seeing the real her. I think that all of the episodes earlier in the season where she was Miss Switzerland on everybody's side or on no one's side or whatever, I think that she was being really careful and really self-aware.
I think she was building up resentment because some of the things she said to Sonja showed the resentment. Like, oh, you have all of this and you think you're a party girl and you think you're fun and you think you're special. That's stuff that happens over like a couple of months of just like harboring resentment for someone.
Yeah.
And she also made a comment at the end of last week's episode when they were at dinner, something like, see, this is what happens once you get me angry. Like, I'm relentless. I won't let things go.
Right. So I remember that.
It's like, yeah, we got that.
Yeah.
We got it.
I think that's why she looks older than she does.
Yes. Well, she seems to talk tongue-in-cheek about having this, like, girls' trip. You know, it's not a girls' trip. Like, every time she says girls' trip, it's like she rolls her eyes, girls' trip. But in all reality, it kind of was a girls' trip. I wouldn't take a girls' trip very seriously if it turns out not to be a girls' trip. I'm not heartbroken because, believe me, some testosterone can make the world a lot better place.
Thank you.
But I do think...
That's why you're here.
Cheers.
That's why Molly's here. No, I'm just kidding. That's ridiculous.
That's why.
But I do think that it is a girls' trip, and when she's kind of dismissing that as a non-valid point, I don't think she's really getting herself anywhere. Because it was.
Well,
girls' trips are supposed to be fun. You're supposed to kind of act ridiculous. And regardless, Ramona and Sonja are kind of trashy and are obnoxious. I would rather hang out with Ramona and Sonja than Aviva.
Oh, any day.
So here's my
She made them look normal.
Yes.
So everybody keeps saying girls' trip. What the heck were Reed and Russ doing there? I mean, if you...
Russ...
I was on Reed's team for a second. I was like, hey, look at that. Awesome. He came in. He helped Aviva get on the plane, get off the plane, get there safe and sound. And then he was going to be a non-entity. He was like, oh, there you go, ladies. Have fun. then what's he doing back at it in the morning, hanging out? Same thing with Russ. Like, if you've got a band that you should be
It doesn't bother me with Russ. It doesn't bother me because Russ was he was on the island because he was performing, and like we've gotten to see, Carol never gets to see him. I mean, the last time we saw Russ, they were singing in a car in a Mustang convertible or something cheesy in New York City at like
episode 2, yeah, 1 or 2.
But they could have had breakfast in many different places. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to shove it down people's throats that they're still there.
Well, it makes me wonder if Aviva was egging on Reed to maybe say like, no, you're going to be here. No, you're not going to go. They're going to
be grateful for you. And I'm going to make you sit there until they apologize and thank you and kiss the ground you walk on for bringing me here. Well, you know what? You know what he was doing that morning at breakfast? He was analyzing all their bodies so he could later call them overweight and old.
Right, which was weird because none of them are overweight.
Yeah.
And Aviva does look the oldest.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Aviva does.
Oh.
Sorry,
Aviva, but
she looks the oldest.
Yeah.
She looks like she's had some bad
years. Of stress. That's what stress and anxiety will do to you, though.
She does look the oldest. I think her husband is disgusting. I'm totally not on team Reed anymore. I'm totally over Reed. I still like Ramona's husband. But, like, I thought that comment, and he kept repeating it over and over, like, we should call
Girls
it...
gone. Old ladies gone wild.
Overweight and old ladies gone wild. Let me say it 3 more times in case nobody heard me.
It's like Beetlejuice. Like, maybe they'll show up if I say it one more time.
I love it.
Overweight ladies, overweight ladies, overweight ladies. Boom!
Boom. I was going to say something horrible. Anyway.
Frighten the children.
Yeah.
I just thought that was like, well, now, Reed, you don't deserve anyone to kiss the ground you walk on because you've shown your true colors too, and you're extremely judgmental and rude. I thought that was like, and he got a lot of attacks on that today on Aviva's blog. A lot of people were commenting like, what a disgusting husband. And
yeah, well, I mean, in America, if you think that's overweight,
I mean,
what's America?
It's sick. Yeah.
So,
there's not an overweight woman on the cast.
Right. Well, I do want to say thanks to everyone for listening on iTunes, of course. And if you guys will just take 1 second of your time and just rate and comment our podcast, we'd really appreciate it. We have tons of other shows here on the network as well. So if you have any other shows you're a big fan of, you can always, once you're finished listening to us, you can listen to them. And then tell a friend also, if you're texting someone as you drive, that's the thing to be texting. Well, what am I doing right now? Anyway, you guys, thanks for rating and commenting. And if you do rate and comment, we always read them. So we're looking forward to reading them.
Don't text and drive,
Don't
please.
text and drive.
Don't do that. Yeah.
I don't know what comes over my mind.
These things happen.
Anyway, we go on to lunch. And lunch is just as turbulent as the conversation that they had in the bedroom.
Were they having lunch at the Rainforest Cafe, by the way?
Yeah.
I don't know.
She's like, it's great food, and they have shops.
Yeah. It was like they were like in Adventureland at Disneyland. Like, apparently you can go to shops, go on rides while you're there.
Get your feet eaten by fish.
Get your feet eaten by fish, and
I think that looked awesome. I totally want to do that.
That's a thing, I guess. You ladies,
I'm into that.
Yeah,
I'm into it.
This is the part where all the men are like, "What?" Yeah, I don't know. And apparently that poor I don't know who was waiting on them, but that must have been a nightmare. Trying to plan when he's supposed to, or when he or she is supposed to put down the plates of what food when. Because
I almost couldn't focus on the scene because of the logistics of the table.
The logistics was really bugging me. I mean, it's not like they went to the bathroom real quick. It's like, okay, I'm going to shop for the next 25 minutes. See ya. And then they bail out 2 people. Then 1 person would go. Then 2 people would go. Then 1 person would leave. Then 3 people would come back.
Right. Well, we saw Carol upset for kind of we've seen her get emotional so far a couple times. And the thing is, she doesn't do what Aviva does, which is just say it to everyone all the time, every day. She kind of does it privately, but she also did say, I wasn't worried about someone coming to find me anyway, when her getting up and being upset. So I did feel bad for Carol because I think Carol is such a strong person. And I think Aviva also again kind of showed her true colors by not really recognizing it in the moment that she's so afraid of flying. It's like, well, maybe someone to your left should be more afraid.
Maybe you could drop the subject for a minute.
Right.
And then she said, It actually wasn't so bad.
Yeah, I didn't think the plane was that bad, actually, is what she said.
Right.
Yeah.
Talk about
What a bitch.
schizophrenia.
Just when y'all thought Molly was dropping it in the second gear, she's up to fourth now. She's like, wait, there's more. Here I am.
Me?
That was though. That
You
was.
are.
I've been really angry the
This is
past
awesome.
2 weeks. I'm getting emotionally invested in
Yeah.
the show. I feel like I know these
I feel like I
women.
need to buckle up next to you because I feel like I'm going to go on a ride real quick. On
My
a Molly
energy.
ride.
I know, it's really intense.
Awesome.
But, you know, I feel it's really weird. I just feel I've been really emotional. And the reason I've been really emotional is because I feel like, how do I explain this? I feel like I really knew someone only to find, it's like when you're dating. Like you feel like you know them and then they like stop calling you or something. Not like that's ever happened to me. But, and you're like, wait, I thought I knew you. I thought you weren't that kind of person. Well, that's how I felt about Aviva. I thought that she was a sane, rational, smart woman. And then to see the behavior of the last couple episodes, I'm like, oh, I feel like you totally were lying to us.
Well, what do you think? Right. Are you still thinking anything about her playing that up for the camera? Or do you think it's actually not her playing it up for the camera now?
I'm starting to feel... last week I felt like she was playing it up. I know my emotions are all over the place. Last week I felt like she was playing it up for the camera. But now I feel like she's not that good of an actress. There's no way. Like, I think we're seeing her true colors. And because I noticed at the beginning of the season and when she does interviews on other, after shows and networks and stuff, she's very put together, but seems like she's being so careful with every word she says, and that she's only here to use it as a platform for One Step Ahead Foundation. And I just not feeling it.
Yeah. Well,
not like the whole world cares how I feel.
Yeah. Like I remember saying last week, I think she's kept herself on such a short leash this whole show, and that's where the resentment has built up. I don't think she's a bad person. I just think she's got herself really wrapped up in herself right now. And
everybody noticed that.
And everyone noticed that. And like the conversation of her trying to say, the flight actually wasn't that bad, was so something that someone who doesn't have anything to say would say. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit into the scenario that you've been talking about. Try to come up with something different other than travel or an airplane or a small space.
Try talking about like what you did.
You don't have to
today.
move on by completely backtracking what you just said. You can move on by having a whole new, brand new topic of conversation.
Well, that's what I'm sorry. Go ahead, Anna.
No, it's not backtracking what she just said. It's backtracking the last 2 days.
Right.
And hysterical fights and trashing two of her quote unquote friends. So it's not just backtracking one thing she just said. I mean, it's really insane. It's an insane comment to throw out, in my opinion. I could not believe she said that.
She's like, by the way, did I mention I have 2 legs? You know what I mean? It's like,
right,
it's that extreme.
Yes.
You'd be like, what? Wait, I just saw,
Well, that's why part of me still thinks that some of this is not her natural way, because she spends so much time backtracking. For every one step she takes the same amount of steps backwards. So she'll say something and then she'll apologize for it on her blog. She'll say something and apologize for it in an interview. She says something, then she apologizes in a article that's written about her. So clearly, whatever she's doing, it's not comfortable for her either, which leads me to believe it may be partly true colors, but it may also be someone who's not terribly comfortable navigating this thing called reality television, where she's being told to do certain things by these producers who require her to be a certain way on camera, and her not knowing exactly how to field that and still be somewhat genuine to who she is.
I agree with you, and I think that's a really interesting point. And if that's the case, and she does every week apologize on her blog for what she did or what she said, and that's not really me, is what she's always keeps saying on her blog, is that's not really who I am.
Right.
And for that reason, I'm starting to feel like, well then, Aviva, don't do the show. Because you either act like Sonja and Ramona, they don't apologize for anything they do on the show.
And that makes them endearing.
It makes them endearing, but it also makes it seem like they're legitimate characters. You know what I mean? Now I'm starting to feel like, okay, well, apparently nothing you do on the show is authentic. I don't really want to watch that. Like, you're signing up for watching a reality show. You want to think you're watching somebody for who they really are.
Right.
As much as we know that's not true, but she can't keep saying that over and over.
Okay, but it's not a documentary. Every person on every reality show ever has been prompted by producers.
Right.
So to keep saying that's not really who I am is a lie. the end.
see-
That's
I
all I
see
have
your
to say.
point.
Everyone's
Yeah.
just staring at me.
No,
like-
that's
Yeah.
it was,
I thought it was
just
gonna be
sinking in.
more.
Yeah, no, it was sinking in. It was sinking. No, it's absolutely true.
Well, I'm actually
so
kind of
you-
confused by what you're
Wait,
saying.
I'm confused what you're saying too.
Well, to say like that's not really who I am, it's the same thing as like blaming editing. So what I'm saying, it's not like a documentary. They're not just following them around.
And not prompting them to do anything.
Exactly. So
Right.
every person on every reality show ever is being prompted by producers, like now talk about this, now be like this, stir up this. So, but to say, not everybody else is saying like that's not really who I am.
Right.
You might say I regret doing that, or I was drunk, whatever. But to say that's not really who I am is she's lying. That is who she is.
Yeah.
Great point.
Even Sonja on her blog, Sonja could potentially have a lot to be embarrassed for this episode too. I mean, she's like falling down drunk. She wasn't exactly the best, most eloquent arguer in the world, but she wasn't apologizing for it on her blog. She's like, yeah, I had drinks. I was in St. Bart's. Who cares? I mean,
Right.
move on.
Yeah. It's just that it's almost that Sonja is more tolerable in her faults. Like I can tolerate Sonja's faults more than I can tolerate Aviva's faults because it's endearing and it's more lighthearted. Where Ramona said about Aviva, she has like a dark energy, which I completely can see and feel through the TV because it's almost like this, if you don't follow my rules, you will be wrong, or I will be after you.
You'll feel my wrath.
I don't. Yeah, it feels
And I'm gonna point my
very-
finger.
It feels
And hell
very
is coming with me.
right. And so when you're in that scenario with a woman who's kind of giving off that energy, you can never really be yourself. You're going to be very uncomfortable and you're going to be walking on eggshells. And she did say at one point in the episode something to the extent of, I'll teach you how to behave properly, or if you like listen to me, you'd be behaving properly or something. But it's like, well, this is an etiquette school. It's Real Housewives.
Yeah.
And so behaving properly really isn't in the cards as much as you'd want it to be.
Well, let me ask you something, ladies. Is any of this have anything to do with the fact that Sonja, Ramona, and Luann are more practiced at this? I mean, is there anything to be said about the fact that we feel the way we feel, or that
definitely.
we tolerate Sonja and Ramona more because it's not the first time we're seeing this, or
Well,
they're just comfortable in their own, or more comfortable
I
in their
think
own skin
it's-
because they've been around this block before. They've been on this show. It's not everything happening for the first time for them.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think so. It's like you don't know how to ride a bike the first time you get on the bike, and eventually it becomes really easy and second nature. So maybe for these women, it is second nature. But again, I don't know if her energy has to do with learning. I think her energy will be the same 5 seasons in or first season in.
And Heather and Carol aren't behaving the way Aviva is, and they're new.
Good point.
And Heather's so grown on me now.
Oh my God, I know, me too. I love her. Everything she says, it's like, yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like a Fairweather fan right now because
Yeah.
it's like, kind of switching teams all over the
Yeah.
place. But
Well, it's
after
as we
a
get to
couple
know
weeks,
people, though.
you kind of go, okay, all right, this person's won me over.
And it was validating to me to hear Heather be annoyed with Aviva. Like, she even said on her blog, and she said on last night's show, she was like, honey, take a ferry, or
Right.
like,
And-
she's like, honey, drop it, and she was getting frustrated.
Right, and Heather's not saying that because she's friends with Ramona and she's backing up Ramona and Sonja.
No.
She's saying that because that's how she feels, and that's the fact of the matter. It doesn't matter. She's not on either side, but she can be honest about Aviva's behavior. And so I do want to talk a little bit about Heather and her leave. I thought she was actually going to leave the
Me too.
island. I thought that
That
would
would've
have been
been
really
awesome.
exciting.
I know.
Yeah, instead she's just looking very hip on a lovely beach, but
She's doing her. She's doing me.
yeah, I don't know. Carol now, and I still love Carol, but it's weird a little bit with Carol because I feel like she's kind of playing both sides of the fence, which she has to. She's the hostess. But when she went down and kind of coddled Heather and she coddled Aviva and she's coddling everybody. And I know she's trying to keep the peace, but it's almost like now making her look wishy-washy. I wish Carol would kind of pick more of a side outside of just her interview in this setting.
Yeah, I wish Carol would say something bad about somebody behind their back for once.
Right.
I'm like, aren't you human? We all do that.
She kind of has them, maybe not necessarily behind their back, but
But
there's
Carol does in the
Yeah,
interviews.
there have been times she's thrown out
the
F-bombs or
interviews,
stuff and
yes.
criticisms. She hasn't always been like, she's said some of these girls are crazy. It's just that I actually took it more as the fact that she was trapped inside the role of the hostess and trying desperately
But I
to
think
turn
if she
what
wasn't a hostess, it would be the same scenario. I don't think she would be picking a side at all.
I don't know.
She trashed the Countess a bit when they
Yeah,
went
I
over.
like that. That
Okay.
turns me on a little
Wait,
bit.
wait. Remind me what she said about the Countess.
Well, I mean, she calls her out like they were having tea, and she's like, or they were cheersing, and she was like, "Oh, another cheers or another toast."
I'm thinking about when they were in London, when they were, that Luann kept one-upping her, and
I think there's still always a little tension between those two. So, like, I looked for it, like in that scene where they were toasting, and Carol rolled her eyes.
I think
they were toasting again.
Yeah.
I thought like the other name for the episode could have been like Carol laying down when she feels uncomfortable, because when she was in the bedroom with Sonja and Ramona and Aviva, she was laying down, and when she was on the beach with Heather, she was laying down.
Well, Ramona called her out on that or something. Maybe it was in an interview.
She called her out on laying down on the bed, and
here I am, Carol. I'm the voice of peace. She said something.
Exactly.
Here I am. Let's get peaceful and lay down.
But that body language says so much. It's saying, I don't want to be hostile, and I don't want to be in anyone's face, and I want to be peaceful.
And it almost comes out in her dresses too, because all of her dresses are very flowy.
And backless.
Yes. So it's just like freedom.
Yeah, it's very freedom-y.
The backless dresses say freedom. Men, backless dresses say freedom-y.
Freedom-y. Did I say freedom?
She called herself Gandhi.
I'm a fashion psychologist, apparently.
Oh my God, that was the best analogy of the night. That was amazing.
Yeah. And she said, we all know what happened to Gandhi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was assassinated.
Yeah.
That was a really good
It's a
line.
good thing she
Sonja and
actually
Ramona
said
would
what
know.
happened to Gandhi, because I'm sure there were a lot of people like, huh? What happened to Gandhi?
Who's Gandhi?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they had to put in that tag of what she said, so people
Just to
knew
cover
what
their
happened to
bases,
Gandhi.
just to make sure everyone's on the same page. Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, what do you think? Should Heather have forgiven Carol about the dinner date, or?
I personally, I found it rude that they were going to go on their double date, because you know
agree.
what? Like, Aviva can't show up and be like, there's no welcome party for me? What? And then the next night being like, okay, thank you, welcome party, but I'm going off with my good friends. I mean, it's just so rude. Unbelievably rude.
And I understand that, Carol's trying to be the hostess and please everybody, and Aviva's feeling like they don't want me here, they don't want Reed here. So I guess Carol's trying to make her feel welcome in her own way, but that's wrong, Don't cater to Aviva's craziness. You don't cater to craziness. It's, rewarding a tantruming child. Tantruming.
Well, I'm glad that Heather didn't go on the dinner with them, because they invited her out of pity, and it was very high school.
And like guilt and what? Yeah. I'm glad that she didn't too. But it should have been, hey, Russ is available tonight. Since Russ is going to go to dinner, we're going to invite Reed anyway, and everybody's going to be okay with it, and we're all going to go to dinner. And
everybody should have been invited.
Yeah, and that's that. So I thought it was silly that they.
It's true that from the minute Aviva showed up, she separated the group.
She did.
I thought when Sonja said, it feels like the balloon deflated, that was a really good way of stating how it felt. Like, oh, all the fun is gone.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good analogy, and I was surprised when I heard it, because I was
She
like,
could
oh,
say
that's
something.
really intelligent. I think Ramona said it, maybe.
Did I say Ramona? Did I say
Sonja.
Oh, I meant Ramona, yeah.
Yeah, it did surprise me when it came out of her
That
mouth.
was poetic.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, from a man's point of view, and from me specifically, the quintessential, even though I don't necessarily condone Ramona and Sonja's behavior and the craziness or any of the craziness from any of the girls, that quintessential problem of girls trip, boys trip is, if anyone has the answer, let me know, because it has been one of like my biggest pet peeves when friends of mine go out and like girls go out and there's always that one or two people that want to go chase after the guy that's cute and forget that it's a girls trip. It's supposed to be the girls hanging out with each other and spending quality time getting to know each other. Or the guys trip where two of the guys go, that chick is hot, I'm going to go over there and say hi to her, and they lose focus on what the trip was supposed to be. There's always that kind of thing always happens. And so of all the craziness that happened, I actually do agree with Ramona and Sonja and anyone else who said as much, is the fact the dynamic of that trip changes. No matter what you do, having Russ there, that's one thing, but at least Carol tried to keep that separate somewhat. But having Reed there and Russ there, and then like Thomas there, and the dishwasher guy there, and the chef guy there, and whatever other guy that Sonja was hitting on, it just changes things. So everyone just needed to lay it down and be like, okay, no more girls trip. Every woman for themselves.
I have been wanting to say this. When you have a girls trip and you have a husband along, that that changes it. That's
Right.
no longer a girls trip. But if you're having a girls trip and you have a hot guy come over for a one night stand, that is still a girls trip.
Yeah.
It's not like when Aviva
That
kept
kind of
saying
defines a
that.
girls trip.
Right, and Aviva kept saying like, exactly. Yes,
Well
yes.
done, Molly.
Well placed applause. That's what kept throwing me was that Toma is not Reed, and that defines the girls trip. But Aviva kept going to that. Like you've had at least one man here, and it was like she couldn't say you've had two men here because there weren't two men there. But that defines a fun, girls trip. It's not a husband. It's different.
I think that when Aviva was saying, like, for example, when she was saying to Sonja, she was judging her for having slept with a guy. Well, first of all, Sonja is a single woman and can sleep with whoever she wants. And secondly, I think that was all about Aviva's resentment about Sonja having slept with Harry, her ex.
Yes, that's where a
She
lot
was
of
like,
the
she's
resentment
been
can come
waiting
from.
for a chance to be like, you're a slut.
Yeah.
Which is basically what she was saying to her. Like, you're disgusting.
Yeah.
I didn't even put that together. You're so right, though.
Yeah,
that's
But
so true.
that's at first because I was like, what is her deal with Sonja? And then I
Right.
realized, oh yeah, Sonja slept with her ex-husband.
Right. I forgot
She's
all
been waiting
about
for a
Harry.
chance
So
to
true.
call her a slut, basically. And then, getting on her for her drinking and saying like you're in a downward spiral and what an example you are for your daughter. It's like, well, you're not you're not being a good example.
The other thing is too is that Aviva said, or I'm sorry, Sonja said when Aviva arrived last episode, Sonja did get out of the pool regardless if she had a top on or not, and she got out of the pool and she said to Reed, this was before any of the drama. She said, "Thank you for bringing your wife," and then she basically was like, "When are you going?" And I thought that was fine. I thought she didn't thank Reed after Aviva told her to thank Reed. She did thank Reed. So I hope when Aviva's watching this, she does realize that they did say thank you to Reed. And I think she either didn't know that information, maybe Reed didn't tell her, or she's just assuming because they didn't want her there that they must have not said it. But they did say it. So Aviva's attack, it doesn't have its same validity. Because if they didn't say thank you, which they did, maybe she'd have a little bit more of an argument. But they did say thanks right at the beginning. And then, of course, they regretted saying thanks because it's been a nightmare.
But they didn't have balloons. That's the problem. They didn't have balloons and one of those guys that has like a drum set with a cymbal on stun at one man
Or a
band
banner.
guy. Yeah, they didn't have that. That's the problem.
The banner couldn't fit on
I
the
was
small
actually
plane.
thinking about it on my drive on the way over here tonight. I was thinking to myself, like, all right, imagine my husband likes poker and he plays poker with his friends a lot. They have like parties where they play poker. Imagine if I showed up at the party, the poker party's already going on. I walk in the door. If I catch someone's eye, it's gonna be like, oh, hey, but I'm not gonna interrupt because they already got their thing going on.
Right.
I'm not gonna be like, nobody stopped playing the game when I walked in the door to greet me. I mean, it's just so irrational. And like somebody on Aviva's blog commented, like, it's clear that Aviva's been coddled because of her disability, been coddled her entire life because she's very, how dare you, and you should have greeted me, and how dare you.
Right.
And, it's just, I think it's become apparent the way she grew up and obviously how her husband Reed must treat her.
Right. Hey, Yerman, don't you have something to tell me about Fox? What is this awesome news you've got?
Yes, I do, everybody. So face it, we all love a good comedy, right? It's human nature, for God's sake. And Fox Premiere Tuesday is stacked with them. Stacked, I tell you. First, Zooey Deschanel is back on this season premiere of New Girl, and boom, just like that, she's laid off and looking for work. Then Family is a Funny Thing. From the producers of New Girl, it's the new series critics are calling one of the year's best new comedies, Ben and Kate. Then the season premiere of New Girl keeps on rolling with another all-new episode. I know, sweet! And then Mindy Kaling has a brand new office. It's the series premiere of the new comedy, The Mindy Project. I'm telling you, if you're looking for a night of laughs, everybody, Fox Premiere Tuesdays got you covered beginning September 25th at 8 p.m.
Wow. Well, I know where I'll be.
Believe it.
For those of you who don't know, those some of those pilots are already available on Hulu. I have watched the Ben and Kate and the Mini Project, and they're both hilarious.
Concur.
They are.
Yeah.
So
So watch, everybody.
I'm a fan. So yeah.
Yeah. What's next on the docket, kids?
Wait, can I say one other thing about Aviva? Because I can't love Aviva. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm relentless when it comes to Aviva.
Switching into fourth gear,
Wait,
everybody.
can I
Here we
say
go.
I have to say one more thing about Aviva. I just have to say, when the last night when they were all at dinner, And Sonja was like, I gotta go pack. I can't eat an 11 o'clock dinner. And Aviva was like, wait, don't ruin my fun. It was like, well, first of all, it was so awkward.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, she's the same woman you were like yelling at all Jack Nicholson style the morning before. I mean, Aviva trying to have fun, I thought came across as awkward.
Yeah.
Like, Aviva's not the hang out at 11 o'clock at night girl.
No.
Right.
Did you guys think that was really uncomfortable?
Yes, it was
made my
incredibly
skin crawl.
uncomfortable. It's kind of like Luann trying to have a lot of fun.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, the only people allowed to have fun are Carol, Heather, Ramona, and Ramona.
Right.
Yeah, she did say you can't handle the truth. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
She said that.
Yeah.
She really
say
said
that?
She really said that.
Yeah.
She really said that. And I almost have expected Ramona to be like, you can't handle the truth, or something else from that movie. And then I realized I'm probably the only person that would have thought of that.
No. But no, Ramona totally called her out. She's like, she's Jack Nicholsoning me, and I'm going to Tom Cruise her right back and just be cool about it. And
Oh, my gosh.
The Lord. Oh, my man.
Good times.
Good times.
Well, I think next week, I don't know, I'm not getting into predictions, but I don't want them to be gone from St. Bart's. I've been enjoying this.
This trauma is so
yeah,
fun.
it's so fun. It's so fun. It may not be so fun for a man. Like, Yerman's looking at me right now like, what are you talking about? Fun?
I don't
Fun?
know.
I know.
I have to say, it actually was nice for them all to jump. This sounds ridiculous, and I'll just go ahead and say it. I'm ridiculous, but I actually found it refreshing that at least they all were able to jump in the pool and have a good time for like 5 seconds.
I was really shocked when Heather initiated that whole thing because I really liked her dress.
There were expensive dresses.
That's all I could think.
What was up with Sonja and Ramona, like, pretending that they didn't want to get in the pool? Oh, yeah, like, I don't know. We're like,
well, it was almost the same equivalent of as Aviva wanting to now have fun.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like they're just turning the tables on each other to be obnoxious is what it is.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really high school and mature of Ramona and Sonja not to go to the concert.
Oh, my God. It was so rude, so disrespectful.
That was
I
obnoxious.
actually disagree. I wouldn't have gone.
No, I mean,
but
I
cut
get
out
it.
the way they did, though. I mean, like Carol said, she's like, I thought they were in the car behind us. 1 second, I look back there, and they're gone. Is that the way you would have done it?
They didn't say that, and the whole
It's called
reason...
a Irish goodbye, isn't it? You just leave the bar without saying bye to your friends.
But that's the whole reason they went on the trip. I mean,
true.
that's not the whole reason, but that was definitely the inspiration
Yeah.
for the trip was
Carol set
Russ's
it up
concert.
that
Yeah.
way.
Well, like, I get it. I wouldn't want to listen to Russ's music either. But I just think it was just a little too juvenile. Like, at
But
least
they
stick it
weren't
out for a
invited to
couple
dinner.
minutes.
You can't not invite me to dinner and then expect me to show up to your boyfriend's show. It doesn't work like that. Sorry.
That's true. That's a
that's
good
fair.
point.
That's fair.
That's
You want me to
very
support your
valid.
boyfriend when you weren't allowing me to eat dinner with him the night before?
Yeah, very valid.
No.
Very valid.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have gone.
That's true.
I would have done the same thing they did. Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just immature.
Yeah.
No, that's a fair point. But Carol still, Carol went through so much. I felt so bad for Carol.
Yeah.
I mean, she was having fun.
Yeah.
I don't think she cares.
I don't think she cares either because she knows she's so above it. And she's just
Exactly.
thinking, this is just promoting my new show that will be out soon.
This is promoting my Pinterest where I show myself in fabulous dresses.
Yeah.
Have you guys checked it out? It's pretty good.
I can't even go on her Pinterest. It'll make me too upset.
Her Pinterest makes me upset.
I think Alex McCord said on her blog that to rent that out for a week is $100,000.
Wow.
So
The house.
Yeah, and Carol, did it's like sickening.
Oh, that's right. That's the show I was.
But
That's what I
makes
was
me
saying
so
earlier.
jealous.
I think at one point when we were all sitting down talking about the shows, I was like, one of the things that disappointed me the most is how much drama that ensued when, technically speaking, they keep showing these vignettes of this beautiful island with these beautiful beaches and these beautiful waters, and
And they're just so miserable.
Well, it occurred to me. I was like, there are people out there who are probably watching the show that have never seen the ocean in real life, that have never been to one.
Yeah.
And we're so caught up. They're so caught up in who's drinking the Pinot Grigio and who got invited to what dinner, that they're not actually enjoying the fact that they get to live these lives, or they
No,
get to stay in
because
these
there's-
$100,000 houses.
They're
And-
so far
but
gone from reality.
Who am I to think about things like that?
I want to make sure that I'm on the same page with this, though. It's $100,000 a week to rent that out, but Carol needs free interns.
Yes.
Okay.
But you guys, Carol doesn't, you have to understand how a reality TV show works. The company which leases that house sponsors, they pay for it because it's free advertising for them. So Carol's not paying for the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in
She
fact,
could.
that
She
real
could.
estate company got
That's
a
all that
little
matters.
plug at the beginning of the show. Remember
They
when
did.
That's
with
true.
Sonja and
They did.
Ramona
Yes,
were
that's
going to
true.
go find a different house.
So does that work for all
believe
the
me,
things that
Carol's
they do?
not spending money on
Does
this
that work for all the things that they do?
Yes, everything.
Wow,
That's how
okay.
it works.
Well, guys, I don't want to miss.
It's called a logo shot.
Logo.
I don't want to miss doing our awesome special segment, what you
no.
should have said. So let's get to that really quickly. Anyone have anything hilarious? I guess I do. I'll start.
Go for it.
Just the one I have is Aviva was getting, okay, so, we just said this line a second ago. Aviva was getting all Jack Nicholson crazy on me. And what she should have said is Aviva was getting all Aviva Drescher crazy on me.
I like it. I like it.
Should I go through it some? There's some that I thought is what she should have said, and then some that I think I should make a new segment for called "That's Exactly What She Should Have Said," and she said it. One of them being Heather, phenomenal. People, plug your ears if you're not old enough to hear this. I saw Sonia's nipples and vaginas so much on that trip, I thought I should start petting and feeding them. Bless your heart, Heather.
I didn't
Bless
get that
your
one.
heart.
So gross.
Sonia, on her soliloquy of what the hell was this? My mouth is money. You effing call me a double dealer. You'll see your ass where it ends up. If people can't follow this, just go with me because nobody could. What comes out of my mouth, you can freaking sell it. And every time I say the F-bomb, it's the F-bomb. I don't bullshit. I've been around a long time, bitch. I'm old, okay? I'm no young person. I have a lot of friends. I have credibility. I work my ass off. Okay, Miss Diva, you bring your tone down. Do not say I'm a double facer. And then it just went on for like another minute. What she should have said was,
That's what one.
I'll be over
won me
here having a cocktail because what I'm about to say is not going to make any sense. And if you really are educated, don't say double facer. Don't say double facer. There's no double facer in baseball.
That's not a thing.
That's not a thing. I don't even know what this means. I'm old, okay? I'm no young person. I have a lot of friends. I have credibility. If you really had all those things, you wouldn't be having to talk about it. Unbelievable. What else is there? Oh, and
That was my favorite soliloquy ever.
it was a bad. And then Ramona's. What exactly is white trash, anyways? I don't even know what it really means. I know it's a bad word, but what exactly does it supposed to? What she should have said was, "Fine, I'm white trash. It's 2 words, but I don't agree. I will finish the sentence grammatically correct. Thank you." I don't know what the heck what was going on there. She was talking about things that. How do you not know what white trash means, and why do you think it's a bad word?
Not
It's 2
knowing what
words.
white trash means you're a white
They
trash.
had to look it up on the iPad.
I like that Sonia admitted. She's like, well, we do act trashy. That was great.
Yeah, she owns.
But that's why they're
she owns it.
likable.
Yeah.
If Aviva was acting trashy, she wouldn't admit to it.
No.
And that's why, like, right now, they've just grown on me. But I'll go back to hating them next week.
Don't worry.
I'm sure all of our emotions will change. All right, I have 2, I guess. Aviva said to Ramona mostly. I was expecting you to put up a banner. Welcome Aviva, rah rah. And what Ramona should have said was, well, aren't banners a little white trashy, Aviva? Because they are. If you have a banner at your party.
Totally.
And then I have one other one. Aviva said, don't interrupt me, don't interrupt me, don't interrupt me. And what she should have said is, don't interrupt me while I interrupt you. Because that's exactly what she was doing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
Sounded like a vacuum cleaner. Maybe.
That was weird. Everything cut out for a second.
Anna, any?
Anna?
No, but I do have news.
Okay, great. Let's get to news real quick.
Okay.
And news music. Awesome.
AfterBuzz TV News.
This just in.
Okay, I guess I'll start us out. So there has been a lot of talk about Sonia, and I definitely have also been talking about Sonia having a drinking problem. Aviva likened Sonia to Anna Nicole, which I don't know, is that a little harsh? But Heather Thompson expressed concern. She said, our Sonia needs to get a handle on her consumption of the spirits. We all love the grape, but she's letting loose on another level, so I'm going to attribute some of the crazy to that. So Heather's concerned too, and I've come to trust Heather's opinion. Then Carol sort of implied that maybe somebody forgot their meds, and she wrote, the perfect house guest, above all, arrives on time and brings all her necessary equipment, such as a bathing suit, tennis racket, medications. Certainly the hostess cannot be responsible for lending personal articles to her guests, especially her medications. The perfect house guest will stay on her medication.
Who do you think she was referring to?
Well, the first guess would be Aviva. However, Aviva has sworn up and down that she doesn't take any sort of chemical.
And
she doesn't
should.
drink. Maybe she should.
I think if she did, she wouldn't act so unstable.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
So who could have forgotten the meds?
I think she's probably saying it as a general statement over everyone.
Yeah, I was like, I think they could all be on meds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
That's all I have. That's all I have, guys.
Except for Luann. She seems pretty even killed.
Yeah, she's even killed, and like she can lie all she wants. I still feel like it doesn't mean she needs medication.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Aviva's blog or
No.
Molly? Okay. So we kind of talked about the comments and stuff.
I think I've talked about Aviva enough that like some people might hate me by now.
Only Aviva.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I don't think Aviva's gonna watch.
Oh my gosh.
Yerman, do you have anything?
I just noticed that there was an article in the Examiner.com. Alex and Simon were talking about the Countess. And there's just a little bit right there for anybody who hasn't read this already. In addition, Simon slams the Real Housewives of New York star Luann de Lesseps for being caught in a scandal that could affect her relationship with Jacques. Was she dumb to not turn off her microphone? Absolutely. Did she lie about the Italian? She admitted to that. She's now said that she's a liar. She called it a white lie. Well, no, it was a black lie, a bad lie, a stupid lie. Luann, after 5 years on the show, turn off your microphone. Don't speak French so doucement, so slowly. That was fantastic.
I miss
Doucement.
Alex. I like Alex.
Yeah,
I thought
too.
she was a voice of reason to a decent extent. But let's get into predictions, shall we?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Molly, why don't you start?
I predict that some of you are going to think I'm pretty nasty for some of the things I said about Aviva. So. But I'll be like, I own it. I own it. That's what she always says.
Yeah, don't apologize.
Don't apologize, just own it. Well, she apologizes and owns it. It's like, well, choose one. You can't own it and apologize.
Right,
You do one or the other.
Right.
I don't know that I have it. Honestly, everything that I could have possibly hoped for to happen in one vacation happened. So all the drama that I could think could happen in 7 days already has happened. I don't really know where they're going to go from here, except more Aviva? Could it possibly be?
I'm Aviva out right now.
I'm not. I could keep going.
You're amazing.
I know. Talented.
Yeah.
Anna?
Well, I just predict a further downward spiral of Sonja. It's pretty evident.
Yeah. I think that's going to be the next big storyline. But my prediction is that you guys will tune into Fox on September 25th at 8 p.m. But until then, we will see you next week here at AfterBuzzTV.com. Tell your friends about us on iTunes, and we will see you next week. Oh, wait. We didn't plug our Twitters.
Oh, wait.
Wait, that's the most
Kristen,
important
go.
part. Follow me on Twitter at Kristen Carney, KristenCarney.
Follow me at Koppel for Mayor, KOPPELFORMAYOR.
And follow me at Molly Comedy. That's Molly with a Y, Comedy.
And you all can follow me at Yerman Gur, YERMANGUR on Twitter.
Okay, and back to my really smooth segue out of the show. We will see you guys next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.